Shout out to Biden and Harris.
So
Mm,
one
that
thing,
this, I think that this shows, no matter what, love outweighs hate. Period. Because this presidency showed us people who was not scared to poke their chest out, and they poked their chest out because they had the president of the United States had their back.
And
right?
So,
shout out to Bloomberg, Stacey Abrams, and LeBron.
oh
Don't
yes,
forget people to
yes,
come out and vote. Like
yes,
every vote counted.
And
yes.
you know, I was talking to you guys on the group chat and just talking about how even for Biden to be able to flip Georgia blue was a big deal, and
That's crazy.
he owes a lot of that credit to Stacey Abrams. Like,
Yes.
y'all know how much I stand for Stacey Abrams. Like, I love
Mm-hmm.
her,
Mm-hmm.
and her initiatives with Fair Fight Action were just phenomenal. I mean, yes, she did a lot of work in Georgia, but she did a lot of work in other states too. But just because of how voter suppression impacted her in her gubernatorial race in 2018,
Mm-hmm.
she wasn't willing to just take the L and go crawl up in the corner and whatever. She was
Like
like,
they
no,
thought she was going to do.
right. She was like, no, we got to make sure that this does not happen to anybody else. And the work that she's done has been so outstanding. Like, I love her even more. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just knowing that this is the 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 what word am I looking for? The benefits of the work that she's put in. Like, she worked really hard because when
That's a lot
I
of
watched
people.
a lot of interviews with her, and she was just explaining the things that had happened during her run,
Right.
about how you had to have like exact match names. So if you had a middle initial that didn't match with what they had on the voter registration, then you can't vote. Or if you had a hyphenated, but there wasn't a hyphen there, then you can't vote. Like, common sense will tell a fool, like, this is the person, but yet
Right.
it's not an exact match,
Right.
so they're turning you away. So, they did a lot to suppress the votes during hers, and she made
Mm-hmm.
sure that she got a lot of people who were purged from the rolls put back on the roll. She got over 1 million people registered in Georgia, that had not previously been registered. So y'all know that's my
Shout
girl.
out. Shout out on
Yes,
Stacy.
yes, on
Yeah, and
stage.
a lot of states they're looking about just getting rid of that rule as far as the felons can't vote. So that's
Mhm.
a good thing too.
Yeah,
Uh,
because if you served your time, you served your time.
you gotta
Right,
live.
Period.
You gotta live in this society. Might as well be able
right.
to vote for who you want.
Yeah.
And if you
No,
paid
but
your
if you
debt to
served your
society,
time,
there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to vote.
but yeah, if you served your time and because people do, after felons, they do come home and they make it so hard for them to get on their feet to have that second chance, that
Hmm.
so that they do fall back in the same shit that they was in that got them in there. So if they come home and they done with parole, they do everything that they're supposed to be to, that they were supposed to do, then I don't see why they can't vote. They
The night of the physical in-person elections, you see all these votes for Trump, and you're like so discouraged, right? And then I go to sleep. I I had the TV on, go to sleep, wake up at like randomly at like 2:30 in the morning, and I see Donald Trump coming on my TV screen, declaring victory.
He is funny
Morning
for that.
vote count stopped in
He's funny for that.
Pennsylvania, and I'm listening. I mean, I'm half asleep, but I'm still listening. Like, what?
This boy don't want it. Some people that have the rights.
Like, that didn't even
hmm,
make any sense. So we go through Wednesday into Thursday. all of a sudden, Friday we wake up and Georgia and Pennsylvania has flipped. And I'm
Now,
like,
now, thank God that
so
Pennsylvania was able
that
to flip.
right, but that just goes to show, like, I wasn't aware of the amount of patience that I needed to have with this election because
But that's what I'm
it was
saying.
taking some time to count those mail-in ballots, and once they counted them, it was like Biden. So, um,
But
with the stuff that they were saying about most Democrats and progressives voting by mail and Republicans voting in person was true.
yeah, it was just like the mask thing. That's all it is. It's the
Mm-hmm.
mask thing all in one. The people who follow Trump don't believe in the mask, and the people who are regular civilians believe in trying to protect the country. It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but my thing is, thank God Pennsylvania was able to flip because we had to wait on Nevada. They were talking about not being done until like Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Nevada was sick with it. Nevada was like, what was
We
it, Tuesday
tell
or Wednesday? They was like, no, we not counting no more votes till tomorrow.
Yeah, they was over it. They was over it. And you know what too? You were able in Nevada, you were able to register and vote that same day.
Nice. That's good.
Well, that was fun. That's where they fucked up at. That's what was taking them so long. Like you know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
ultimately those people have to be verified. So those votes, like they're able to do that, but those got pushed to the back too. So that's what's
But there
taking so
are a
long.
lot of states that have same day voter registration. So why is
Oh,
Nevada the only ones who have an issue with it?
now we know what time it is in Nevada. Like other than Las Vegas, we know what time it is in Nevada. So that's why it took them so long to flip that. They didn't want the ID on them right now. That's
oh,
why they
well,
talking about we gonna take our time because they don't want
No,
it.
I don't know what's happening in Nevada.
Nevada is a red state.
Oh, you said a red state?
Yeah,
Yeah. So you didn't want them. You think that they didn't want them to be all out on the spot, like being flip blue?
yeah. They would rather
and
the election be done just like Georgia. Georgia didn't want to flip. You see the dude coming out talking about we recounting
Yes,
it.
that's another thing. And see, this is the thing. So what is his name? Kemp, Governor Kemp. That's the one who beat Stacey Abrams, right?
Hmm.
So mind you, recounts don't happen automatically. They have to be requested by the
But
candidate. But off
exactly.
top, you're talking about, oh, we're doing a recount. What?
Yeah, that was weird. That was very
because
weird.
their boss was screaming that shit from that night. That night you woke up in the middle of the night, he was
Mm-hmm.
saying that he won by a lot. Like
Well,
he
well, well. What's really going on is they're scared as hell is that the Senate's going to flip just like the presidency's going to flip. So they want to make it still be a red state. They don't want it changing.
oh well, their time's up. Fuck
Their
that.
time's up. All that stuff.
Yeah.
What they gave people the conveniency to actually vote before and send it mail, I think that might have been the only thing harming the vote was more so the conveniency of it not
Mm-hmm.
being multiple days. Like when
Mm-hmm.
it just being one day, I think a lot of people just was like, "Oh, I forgot."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Do
it
it
ain't
in the privacy of their own home. You don't got to worry about going out to the polls. Afraid because there's poll watchers or there's people who, just out there making a scene and protesting and all of that shit. You get your ballot, fill that shit out, put it in the mail,
because
done.
even though you lost, even Trump broke records.
He did. He
Everybody,
Mm-hmm.
did. And
everybody
that's
was
why I'm
doing it.
saying shout out to everybody because like the amount of voters that came out in generally was record breaking.
Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
Because like I was saying earlier, Biden has the most voters in history, but Trump is second.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this election, the people really have spoken.
But it's
Um,
funny how it came down to the urban communities. Well, I don't even like saying the word urban, but just the inner city communities.
it did. But the one thing that I have to say about that is, I think, um, as far as Biden and Harris, when it came to their campaigning and stuff, they really didn't say a lot about a black agenda. But right now that he's the president elect, I need them to seriously understand that we want to hold them accountable now,
Definitely.
because it shows, given the numbers and given the areas that flipped, places like Georgia, places like Michigan, places like Pennsylvania, black voters saved your behind.
Well, it's
Mhm.
We
prevalent for
really did.
well,
And
even for
I
the
feel like there's no denying
2024
that, because
election.
Michigan was all red except for like the Detroit area. Wisconsin, you look at Milwaukee. Pittsburgh, you're looking at, I mean, Pennsylvania, you're
Pennsylvania.
looking at Allegheny County and
Mhm.
Philadelphia County. Georgia, you're looking at the Atlanta metropolitan area, and
There was a couple others.
yeah, but those are areas where there's a big black population in all of those areas that I named. So you can't tell me that black people didn't save Joe and Kamala's behind. And we've been talking about how the black community owes so much. Here we are once again saving y'all's behind. Y'all owe us, and we need to see
Mhm.
that. And I hope y'all
Mhm.
recognize that.
Mhm.
Well, it's going to be prevalent for 2024 because if they don't do what they say or do what that needs to be done, Republicans going to be in the office in 2024.
Well, I mean,
We gotta.
I won't say that. I think that you're most likely right, but I think that if they don't show improve, if there is a Democratic candidate who does step up to the plate, and we recognize our power and say, you know what, because we know that Joe Biden is not gonna run for a second term, but it's highly likely that Kamala is going to run in 2024 as the presidential candidate. So we can look at it and say, look, Kamala, y'all didn't do nothing for the black community. So now we're backing somebody like Stacey Abrams or Val Demings or something like that. You know what I'm saying? We're done with
Mhm.
you because you had your 4 years. We saved y'all's behind in the election. Y'all didn't do nothing. So now here we, because I feel like this election proves that we are so powerful. Not that we didn't know we were before, but we are so
Everybody didn't know.
powerful.
Everybody did not know. Everybody, they was acting like they ain't know.
How powerful we are.
Mhm.
Well, I hope they take notes.
I just
I
hope.
think that I feel hopeful for the
Mhm.
simple fact is so much shit, you know what I'm saying, has
Mhm.
happened in the last 4 years where we do got to hold them accountable, but he shitted on so much shit
Mhm.
when he was in, like, you know what I'm saying? So they're gonna have a rough time just getting the logistics back on track. Cause he got to come in and he got to clear house, just like Trump did when he came in after Obama. He cleared house.
Well,
He he
he actually did not. What happens is the administration and the people they pick. Once there's a new president,
right,
everybody leaves. And from what I
right.
understand, Trump didn't know that he had to pick all new people. He was expecting some of them people to be left over from the
Time was running
Obama
out.
administration. So he was
Oh my God.
surprised at the fact that he had to like pick.
He
And
didn't know what he was doing from the door. He shouldn't have never been there. He
no, he
shouldn't have
shouldn't.
never been there.
That's what I'm
So
saying. Like,
I'm
for him
hopeful
to be
for
like a sore loser, he got to understand it. For him to be able to even make it through all 4 years, man, being just a celebrity and not like a politician, he better gracefully bow out. I don't know what all this sore
yes,
loser
the
stuff is.
arrogance. The arrogance with him is a
It's
thousand.
crazy.
It's a
Crazy.
thousand. It's a
Like if
thousand.
somebody just put me in that position right now and I was able to last all 4 years, I was like, man, that was a hell of a run.
I know.
Mhm.
Let's
And
pop bottles.
he got
Congratulations,
impeached.
so and so.
He got he got impeached. The scandals, the tax situations, just everything that happened in these
COVID
four
19.
years. COVID-19, like everything that has
You
happened.
know what's funny though? Like I just look at it like whoever owns that MAGA merch is probably making crazy money.
Whoever owns who?
That MAGA
MAGA
merch.
merch.
Oh,
I
If,
mean,
if he got a hand in that, he's probably like business is booming right now.
hmm so I mean, I guess you guys can count on not getting another stimulus check until the president elect is sworn in on January 20th. Because your
But
boy
look, the
is
thing about
mad.
that is
He is not giving a
he's swole.
concession speech. He is not inviting Biden to the White House for that little talk that the president had to like kind of like usher in the new one. He ain't doing none of that. So
disrespectful. There was a lot of people talking about how, this plain old disrespectful, plain slap in the face. Um, since Trump has walked in those doors, he has done nothing for the people. Everything that he has done has been for him and
mhm,
his family.
mhm.
Period. He don't care about shit.
I just want to see some policies get changed that sway on their side. If that can happen,
Right,
I'll be happy.
right.
If that doesn't happen, I'm not going to be able to see the difference, honestly.
Hey, and
So I have
I'm
a
right there with
question.
you because I thought Trump was horrible for America in general, right? So, like Kenya
Mhm,
was saying, it's Operation Get Trump Out.
mhm,
Okay, so now that we got him out, it's time to hold by President-elect Biden and Madam Vice President
mhm.
Harris accountable to say, like, look,
Yes.
there's things that we need, and
Yes. So
we
I
expect
have
y'all
a
to deliver.
question. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So with the win, how do you think Cube what do you think his standpoint is with that? Should he have waited to let this thing play out? Or did he make the right move in doing what he did?
I
He
think
made
what
the wrong.
Jessica, I think
I,
what Jessica said last time was right. It was the timing of everything. It was just like what
awful.
was it, like 2 weeks before the election. So it was
Well,
just
he had initially introduced it, I think, in August. So it was a couple of months, but that was still too close
that's
to
still too
election
soon.
It
time.
still
I mean,
was
too
timing.
late. It's too
Um,
late.
I, because we know that Donald Trump is a liar. He usually will say anything to try to get votes and whatever, but he probably is not going to deliver. I feel like the better thing to do would have been to wait until after the election for whoever won in order to present this the what is it, the plan for Black America
And
or
Mm-hmm.
see,
whatever
and
it's
see,
called.
my thing with Cube was and again, I'm not mad at him, but it's just more so when you did that, now you got to defend yourself, talking about you're not you're not voting for Trump. You're not. You know what I mean? But in
But they
reality,
used him as a pawn, and
mhm,
I'm disappointed in Cube for not recognizing that.
Mm-hmm.
We know Cube is consistent in being for the Black community,
Mm-hmm.
so I
and that's why I'm not
definitely do
mad.
not believe like this man. How many years ago? His group had a song called "F the Police." Like
Mm-hmm.
they are about that life. However, I just think that your
He got
execution was
used.
horrible and you need an expert by your side to give you some advice on how you should maybe navigate the situation because it was terrible.
See, I ain't
I
mad at
think
Cube.
so.
I'm mad. I'm mad at more people like Little Wayne and them. Even though you're
Well, here's
allowed to have your own opinion on
It's
things, but
canceled.
it's
right.
like Well,
I was going to get to him next, but I had a second part of of that first question. So that my second part of that question is, so now now that we do have the new president elect, do you think that Cube should come back to the table? Should we?
definitely.
Okay,
If it
and
wasn't, go ahead.
uh, so if he does that, so we should forgive and forget and move on
Yeah, because the
and jump
agenda's
ahead.
not. It's, the agenda's for black people all together. It's not just for itself.
Right.
So,
All
um,
right, I know.
yeah, I don't.
One of the things. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
I was
Sorry.
just saying I'm not mad at Cube for being Cube and doing that. It's just more like just because said he got played. That's
He
all.
did get played. And one thing, because you guys know, I love watching me some Roland Martin. Roland Martin got Cube all the way together. So I think before Cube presents anything to the Biden Harris administration, he needs to figure out what was already presented to Congress, because there was a lot of points in his contract with Black America that had already been presented to Congress through the Congressional Black Congress. I mean, the Congressional
Caucus.
Black Caucus, that he was not even aware of. So maybe he
Right,
needs to do a little bit more homework and figure out,
right,
is there a different strategy that we need to bring to the table in order to present this to Congress so that a lot of these things can get passed. I was looking at him with the side eye for not even knowing that a lot of those points were
right.
already presented to Congress. How did you not know this? Like, how do you think that? How are you so arrogant to think that these things that you put in this contract with Black America, nobody's ever discussed them before, and you were the great Black hope to
I ain't
I,
mad at
I'm
him
the
though.
first one to. I'm
I'm
not mad at him, but I really feel like his level of arrogance played a part in how people are looking at him now. Like,
But
he
I
needs
just look
to
at
come
it
at
like he
us
probably like,
with a level of humility that says, no, Cube, you're not a politician. So you need experts by your side to help you navigate, because you're an entertainer. So this is a different territory for you.
but my thing is too, he got everybody talking. If Cube wouldn't have did it, who would have did it? It would be crickets right now.
You're right. You're right about that. Because as the average person, I would not have known that a lot of those points that were in his contract with Black America had already been presented until Cube actually presented it and Roland Martin called him out. Like, you do know that.
Yeah, and what Q was trying to say, and he presented a plan that was done by other people, so he probably put his faith in other people instead of doing his homework and researching with other people like Roland Martin, which he should have did, and he probably put his faith in those scholars, whoever he had, write that up. But at the end of the day, I'm not mad at Cube. He got played altogether, but we should always accept him back because it is. There's I didn't read the plan, but if they're talking about pouring that much money back into these communities, I'm all for it.
Yeah, but you know what though? I am like really annoyed at you. I'm not saying I wouldn't accept him back, but I'm really annoyed at you because Kamala Harris did want to do like a live type conference call type, if you will, with Cube, Killer Mike, D.L. Hughley.
That's
It
pandering,
was a
man.
couple of
No,
other
like,
people too,
no.
and Cube refused to do it.
Yeah, like
And
I'm
I
not
was like,
pandering
your level of arrogance is like really annoying me with this whole thing. I felt like,
Why is it pandering, Tavi?
because it should be behind the scenes. Like, let me come to your office. Let's talk. Like, no, like it shouldn't be the fucking call that's about to be on YouTube.
I mean, I don't agree. The only reason why I don't agree with that is because even given like certain conversations and certain things that have gone on with this election, a lot of people are heavily misinformed. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that would have been an opportunity to get a lot of facts out there about our community
I think she was
that people
looking
may
at
not have
it
done
for
before.
benefiting for voting reasons. And
Mm.
that's not the point. It's the point. And that's why I think Cube was upset with the Trump administration because they played him and made it seem like he was supporting them. When
But at the same time, with Killer, somebody like Killer Mike has been an activist for many years. You
Mm-hmm.
know, D.L. Hughley. I don't know if he calls himself an activist, but he's definitely a strong advocate for the Black community. So I thought this was the perfect space for Cube to participate in, and not only participate in, but to gain um,
Knowledge, because there's things that he didn't know.
right, gain knowledge and support. And so
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he really missed the mark with turning that down. Regardless of what we think, because do I think Kamala Harris is a panderer? I do. But I think that regardless of what her if she had the intention to pander, I think there was a greater purpose that could have been served in that conversation if we would have been able to see it.
this girl said Tupac is the greatest rapper alive.
Who said that?
Come on, Larry.
Hey, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I mean, I do understand that from that first Breakfast Club interview that I saw her on. Like, that's one of the things that turned me off from her because I'm like, lady, I've seen you work in Senate. You're a beast. You ain't got to do all this pandering.
Mm-hmm.
You don't.
Exactly. Exactly. But you know how people have advisors and stuff though too. So that's the only thing. Even because that's how they was making Hillary Clinton to be out when 4 years ago. Like she was doing
Hot
too
sauce in
much
her bag when she's up at.
dancing on stage with rappers and doing all that. Like I ain't trying to see all that. Like
Yeah, or you just have people
stick
be
to
there
your
who they
agenda.
are. Yeah.
Which brings me to
Exactly.
another point when it comes to rappers and entertainers and stuff. The the thing that I was made aware of during this election cycle is that Tavi, I think I understood more about your frustration when I was listening to Roland Martin one night, and he clearly stated that there's no candidate on either side who specifically speaks towards the plight of the Black man. Nobody does.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
And for that, I can understand your frustration. And I'm like, candidates in the future, especially if the Black community is going to be up here carrying these elections for y'all, these
Mm-hmm.
are specific demographics that you have to speak to. You have
Mm-hmm.
to, or you're going to lose them. There's no reason why 18% of Black male voters voted for Trump. Why?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Man,
Why?
everything is about healthcare and foreign affairs. You ain't talking those two things. It don't even reach to the Senate for real, because it's like that's the only thing they talk about. Like when they need our vote, that's when they'll start talking about Black issues. But other than that, it's about healthcare and foreign affairs.
But we got to, I feel like as a
That's
people,
where
not
that's
only
where the houses come into play. In the Senate and all of those things, that's where they come into play,
mm-hmm.
in my opinion.
But that's why we gotta flip it. Blue.
Absolutely. There's still
Gotta
work to
flip
be
it
done.
blue.
There's
There's
still work to be done,
mm-hmm.
and I feel like
Mm-hmm.
part of that is on us because I feel like once the election's over, we act like our work is done.
It's
But
not.
and then we sit there like, oh dang, they ain't doing nothing for Black people. But we need to hold them accountable. This 4 years is the prime opportunity for us to hold them accountable and to do things for our community because we know if not for us, they would not have won this. Now, once this 4 years is up, we're gonna show y'all you ain't did nothing for us for this 4 years. So now we got to back somebody else.
More importantly, on the local level, do your homework within these 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So the people on the local level, even if they Democrat or Republican, if they ain't doing their job, get them out of there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Period.
Swear.
Period.
Period.
Because the saddest thing I think for us is for us to hold so much power, but not be aware of how much change that we can impact.
I think we
Yes.
Uh,
got the. I think we got the point now,
you think so?
man. Like you said,
I
in
mean,
those,
I hope so locally because a lot of things could change if locally, shit like that happened.
man,
Mm-hmm.
in
So,
those red states like Georgia and PA, for those to flip like that, and
hmm
it be because
Right.
of those type of towns and counties. Sheesh,
Mm-hmm. It's
that don't
crazy.
let you know. it was like a 30,000 vote lead. Like it wasn't even like anything crazy. Like I think Nevada's even shorter. It's like a couple thousand.
Right.
You know, so that don't
Yeah.
let you know your vote don't count. I mean, did your vote count? Then I don't know what else does. You know what I mean?
The logic that people was saying, it just like really made me look at people. And I was talking to a friend today, and she was saying how she argued with her family. Like she was arguing with her family because they did not vote. They did not vote, and she said she think her son voted for Trump. So her pressure was like she was. It's
There's
not
a
even
lot.
funny to, but she was just like, you can't make nobody do nothing. But the logic behind the things that they were saying, she was just like, I just couldn't believe it.
Like you can't be mad at the son, but you got to be mad at the rest of the family for not even voting. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You got to at
Well,
least vote.
she's mad. She's mad at all of them. She's mad at the son too.
Like,
She's just feel like he drank the Kool-Aid. He because of the job that he holds.
well, that's his
So,
personal opinion. Like she might
mm-hmm.
be wrong for even asking who he voted for. Like
Uh,
just letting.
Let me clarify. He did not tell her. She's assuming just because of the line of work
Okay.
that she, feels like that's who, but he didn't tell her, and he didn't, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of the things that he was saying
And see,
made her think that.
it's that rhetoric, but Joe Biden should have cleared up a lot of that rhetoric of sorts, like defunding the
Mm-hmm.
police and not believing in law and order and all of that. He should have cleared that up. He was thinking he was going to lose the black vote if he cleared that up, and that's one thing that was frustrating me with him. The main thing to me is the reason why I voted for Biden was Trump was too divisive, like
Mm-hmm.
too divisive, like to the point where people like this, it was like, and still to this day it might be a civil war, but it was like
Oh
getting
yeah.
down to that
I,
point.
so I was just thinking like he didn't clear that up, but is it too late for him to clear it up?
Not at
Because
all. It shows more. It shows more after he gets in for him
right,
to clear it up now. I was
right,
expecting more than doing it on the trail because it's easy to do stuff on the trail to try to get the vote. But now that
right.
he got a vote, if he tries to do right, I'll salute him for that.
Right,
You know
because
what I mean?
his moves is strategic, and they got an agenda. They're trying to, they focus. They got tunnel vision, and they
I
they
hope
make
so.
moves. So but now that they're in, they're like I just said, there's a lot of work to be done.
But you got to understand who all do he got to pay off for getting in? Which packs did he come to taking their money, and who does he have to honor since he is in? You know what I mean? Like there's companies and things that probably was pushing for him and basically funded his campaign.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But to piggyback off what you're saying, that is why before I wasn't feeling Diddy, but now I am, because Diddy is talking about forming super PACs and
Yeah,
forming our own political party eventually. Like the people with the money, them super PACs, like super PACs can put out ads. They can spend an unlimited amount of money
mm-hmm.
backing this candidate. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if we got that type of power, then folks is gonna start listening to you. When you
Yeah,
call this office, they're gonna pick up.
because we got the number one entertainers all together. So
Mhm.
if we run a super PAC, that means people will be glued in and watch whatever um whoever we promote. But at the end of the day, it's like we as people got to understand that we do have that power, and this election should be able to show you that. And
Because
now
guess
that
what? You don't hear nobody speaking against the NRA, even though we have a problem with gun violence in this country.
Mm-hmm.
No candidate is speaking out against the NRA or
none,
Mm-hmm.
none, and
because
then what
guess
you
what?
got to
They got the money and they fund them.
so whatever agendas the NRA got, Biden is going to have to honor that. just
Maybe
because.
we don't know if he
Well,
did
I'm
or
not
didn't.
saying the NRA altogether, but as far as a super PAC that was doing all this,
Right.
putting money and backing him, you know what I mean? So, us as Black people, I don't know who actually has super PACs out there, because there might be people out there with Black agendas that run super PACs that Joe Biden might have to honor. But at the end of the day,
there might be, but my thing is, I'm hoping that they're able to spread awareness, because they don't know people like us might be willing to support those
definitely.
if we know what their agenda is,
Now,
but we're
but
not even aware of them.
you want to know what's funny? It could be like a company like Pepsi or Sprite or something like that, but they might not be able to come out and say it because the people who's giving them money might not be with the Black agenda. So I just hope that somebody got something in place.
That there's a lot of money that goes into those commercials, and they may not even be funded by Joe Biden. At the end of the commercial, you'll this person speaking in a small voice talking about this commercial was funded by the committee to elect Joe Biden. That's the super PAC.
Yeah,
they might not be directly linked to Joe Biden, but they support him. So
they backing.
Those are the things that we need to be doing.
Definitely,
we got the money, and as a group, even if it's small donations, we could definitely do it.
Definitely, because at the end of the day, all right, you're in because of us now. We got these demands that we need met, or you're going to be out of office next 4 years.
Now, did you guys listen to Stacey Abrams on the Breakfast Club?
I didn't even know she was on there.
She was on there. I think it was election day, I want to say, and it was a short interview, maybe about 11, 12 minutes long. But basically, that's what she was talking about. She was like, yes, voting counts, and that is part of it. But Black people need to understand that we have how much power we have, and that we can't just sit back after election day and be like, oh, well, this person. We have to get in place and able and be willing to hold these candidates accountable for what they're doing or not doing. So she talked a lot about that in her nonprofit, but I thought that was good information for her to tell us, because I think a lot of people are under the misconception that once you vote, like it's a done deal. Like, all right, I done voted for you now. What's in it for me? But
we got to stay engaged too. We got to stay engaged as people too, because I feel like we let Obama off the hook to where after he was president, we just sat back and let him drive the car instead of us putting pressure on Obama. So we got to stay engaged as people and push stuff to the Senate and help the president be able to push things to the Senate. Because at the end of the day, the way these rallies and all these marches are for a Black male getting killed, as far as we should keep that same energy and push things to the Senate and things that we want to change and policies. So that's how I feel. We got to stay engaged as people and have that same passion and not just say, oh, well, we got him out of office, because the establishment is still the establishment. People still gonna go to jail and get unfair numbers if they're of color. People still gonna get not have the right wages as women in the job workforce. People still are going to be treated differently by the cops if you're a Black male. Like, all this stuff is still going to go on. So us as people, we got to keep that same passion.
Right. And I think that as Black people, we're too nice. People are not going to give us stuff. We got to take it.
Well, we give people the benefit of the doubt until they hurt us. I say that. I'm not going to say we're too nice. We always give people the benefit of the doubt until they hurt us, and then the joke ends up being on us.
Yeah, we got to take our stuff.
We got to take it.
We sit up here waiting for folks to do what we feel like they should be doing in a perfect world. Yes, you would make it right with us. So you would make it right with our community. Unfortunately, people are not doing that. So now.
And see, that's why I like what 50 Cent did as far as him coming back over to the bad thing, but just letting people know shit ain't sweet. with the bag campaign. So we just
Mhm.
gotta make, like Stacey Abrams said, make the bag campaign do right for
Yeah,
our
we knew.
people.
Well, I mean, I ain't gonna speak for everybody, but like I knew that, like
Hmm.
um, it's just we that was I had tunnel vision with that shit and him
It's
being
like
the
step one. Step one, delete
Mhm,
Trump. Now it's
mhm,
step one to step two.
yes. So now we have to be aware um of what's to come from here until January. There's a lot of days between
Mhm.
now and inauguration
Well,
And
day.
Trump is
everybody
still the
gotta be
president.
And
everybody gotta
he
be
is
safe.
technically still the president for however many days and weeks.
Well, he got to
So
deal with COVID. He got to deal with COVID. That's
He
gonna be
ain't
the
dealing with nothing. You hear me? He was on the
he
golf course
should have
today.
already been dealt with COVID
He was on the golf course today. He not
today.
dealing with nothing. And guess what else? Ain't nobody getting a stimulus check till after January 20th. That is my bet. I'm not for certain, but I'm pretty much.
nah. I'm for certain. I'm for certain. It's over. See, my main thing is that we they got to get the people like Mitch McConnell and all of them out of there.
Mhm,
That's where it comes down to. They
mhm.
Well,
gonna
we'll
be.
see. We'll see because it's tight down there. So we'll see.
Yeah, Kentucky definitely didn't turn blue. So I was not surprised that Mitch McConnell got reelected.
I was like,
Right.
like nothing's changing. Nothing.
But the seat,
Now, Lindsey Graham, his opponent was Jamie Harrison. There was a lot of money poured into Jamie Harrison's campaign, so I was kind of surprised that Jamie
Lindsey
Harrison
Graham's the one.
lost. I think Lindsey Graham was in South Carolina. I think, um, but he did have a black opponent, Jamie Harrison, and Jamie Harrison. He seemed like he was a great opponent. He raised a lot of money and stuff, but ultimately it wasn't enough to win the seat. So
Yeah, you get a state like South Carolina to change.
right.
That's why North Carolina.
One
Do
thing
it.
that I have to and shout out to Funky Dineva, that's another YouTuber that I watch on a regular basis. He helped me put it into perspective as to, because I was like thoroughly confused as to how Florida and Texas were able to remain red. And he just broke it down to, when it comes to like Latino community, they are not monolithic. Like, there's a lot of Cubans in Florida. Cubans are looking at Mexicans like that ain't us. That ain't our issue. So a lot of Cubans in Florida identify as white.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to go with the white or Republican issues and support that. And it was thoroughly confusing to me. But then when it was put into perspective, it was like, okay, so as a ADOS, an African descendant of slaves, like, would you go up for Jamaican issues or Haitian issues? And I was like, I guess I really don't think about those things if I have to be completely honest.
mhm.
So on the flip side, when it comes to the Latino community, I guess it would be the same comparison. Why would they stand for Mexican issues? Because they're not Mexican, they're Cuban.
Yeah,
So
that's two totally different. A lot of them don't even get along with each other.
right.
Yeah.
And there's serious issues in the Latin community with colorism as well. So
Mm-hmm.
there's Latinos that can consider themselves black, but then you have a lot of Latinos like in the Floridian community that consider themselves white. So I was confused
Yeah.
until it was broken down for me on that level. I'm like, okay, all right,
Not me. I
now I
lived it.
understand. And yeah, and one thing that I do have to acknowledge too is somebody outside the country, you have to kind of like wonder what um what do they see that's from the United States? Like, are you looking at Vogue magazines? Are you looking at
Like, are you
soap
watching
operas? Like,
CNN or are you
what is
watching
it?
Fox?
Because you're not getting a full scope of our American community when you're living in Cuba or the Dominican Republic or whatever. You're only getting bits and pieces, and what you can gather from that is white is right. So if you're that light, and in your situation, um, they are that light,
But then you got to
you
look
may
at it.
gravitate towards, well, this is the community that I most identify with because I'm closer to this. Um,
Well, you gotta look at it. They're on the same island as Haiti too, and they had a lot of Haitian slaves. A lot of Haitians are dark skinned, so you gotta look at it like that too. You
mm,
know, um, I look at it just like up in Canada or even anywhere. It's like the darker you are, the harder you probably had it in those areas when you were because you probably was slave refugees or whatever. Coming from America, like
mm.
a lot of these little islands that surround the United States, when they have darker people, I just look at them as slaves that basically was refugees from America.
But you know what though? I didn't realize that the Latin community had that big of an issue with colorism until maybe the last few couple years or so. And let me tell y'all, when I was in my 20s, I went to Miami, right? And I was with it was a group of us. We were down there on spring break. I was the darkest person in the group. Um, when we got to the club, there was a club promoter in the front, and he was the one who determined if you got straight in or if you had to stand in that long line, right? So he sees my light skinned, beautiful friend in the front. Come on in. I'm in the back. Um, so he kind of like puts his hand out when it gets to me, like stopping me from getting in. And my light skinned friend had to say, "What are you doing? Like, she's with us." And it was only then that she said that he let me in.
I was about to say, don't you know you can debug those promoters? Those promoters are clowns. Like a lot of those you can debug those
But
promoters.
the line was like for me
Yeah, but once they
around
start
the
talking to
corner.
you, you can debug. Like it ain't.
And I could not, in my mind, I could not understand why he did that to me.
As a dude, I debug dude promoters. When you work in those Florida areas, like they're just regular jobs. Those are almost like having 9 to 5, being a
Mm-hmm.
promoter. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them they try to bring business to the thing. So he probably is looking at them like, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I'll just be like, I'm going in with them. That happened to a couple of my boys down in Orlando. I got in. I don't even know how I got in so fast, but they made them. They was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But it was all because of the promoter. But after a while, you just like Debo, basically.
But
Even
I
the
think
security guard knows how.
as a woman, I was taken aback by that, and I couldn't understand why he did that. But now hindsight is 2020, and now that I'm aware of the issues of colorism within the Latin community, I'm like, oh, that's why that happened. Because I was the darkest one in the crew, and he was trying to be like, nah,
Mm-hmm.
you're not coming in here. So, but yeah, I remember that happening when I was in Miami.
It's almost like whenever you done like writing and you be there before the white person and the cashier asks the white person like, "How may I help you?" But whoa, whoa, whoa! I was there before the like, whoa.
I've walked out of places for that. Like, my
Yeah,
money's spent anywhere.
For
right,
colorism.
Hmm.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of
I
people don't
think
even
that
know they're doing it.
the only thing that stopped me at that time from acting up is because the only people I know here are my friends who are going to the club. So what do I do? Do I go back to the hotel by myself,
You
or
act a
do I
donkey.
what? You know what I mean? Or act a donkey? Like, what do I do?
Yeah, you
So
act a
luckily, before
donkey.
I had a chance to like say something, my light skinned friend
She's like,
said
whoa, mama,
something like, "Yo,
come on.
she with us. Like, what is you doing?"
Yeah, you supposed to act the donkey, like,
Oh
don't
man.
never let nobody play.
So I mean, we are at an hour and 7 minutes. Um, so I don't know if you guys want to try to wrap things up. One thing I do want to say is that um, right now is really an emotional time for me because I feel like, regardless of what we may feel for Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, it is a wonderful sight to see um, for us to have a Madam Vice President for the first time in history, and she is Black.
She got to do the fast black.
She did. You know what, sir? I'm
Yeah, that
sorry
might
for
be the end.
understand you right
That
now.
might be ending.
She
You about
had
to go
jump on
in,
the
Kenya?
runway. She probably did, huh?
You about to go in on top, Kenya?
Nah, I'm the fight's over. The fight's over. Far as all of that rhetoric that was happening, now they won. So let's move on. That's all. Quit bringing up old shit, Tom.
I ain't bring up that no like that. But no, but for real though, I want everybody to be safe because these next couple of weeks and even these next couple
Yes.
of months
Mm-hmm.
until he's even after he's out of office, be safe. Watch
Mm-hmm.
your
Yes.
head. Make sure your awareness is up because these
Yes.
motherfuckers might try to some slick shit.
They are. It's not might. They are.
Just don't
They
let
are.
it be you. Don't be caught slipping. That's all I ask.
Yeah, yeah. Um, when it comes to not being caught slipping, I can honestly tell y'all for the first time, I have seriously been considering getting my gun license and getting me and my daughter trained on the usage of firearms.
Why
I
not?
know that when it comes to different communities, their children hunt and know how to use firearms at a young age. So I'm like, why not my kid?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. And I even looked online this morning and it does not cost that much to get license to
It's a
for
dub.
concealed carry.
The line was just wrapped around the building the other day downtown. The line was wrapped around the building.
I feel like we're gonna do that.
Hey, you went to go vote. Now that's your right, and now you got
Yep.
another right. You want to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right.
That's
Yep.
all. Just make sure
Yes.
you exercising your rights, because at the
Right.
end
Yes.
of the day, they do it and they try to intimidate them. Like,
And
why
they
are you coming?
just make you feel like you can't do it or you're not allowed to do it or why are you
Like,
doing that? Like
why are you coming to
it's a hidden
the
agenda
polls
or
with an assault rifle? Why you
Right.
got an
something.
assault rifle coming down to the polls? Like, that's
I don't
no
need
Mm-hmm.
no
motherfucking way.
assault rifle. I just need a nine, a piece,
Mm-hmm.
with 9 jewels on it.
You might want to have an
But
assault rifle too.
seriously though, like I feel like it's really important for me. Once I get my license to get trained on it and make sure my daughter is trained in the usage and safety of a weapon as well, because I just think that's important. And I think that within our community there might be a lot of reservation in teaching our kids that, but in other communities their kids know how to use a gun and safety about a gun at a young age. So I'm really with it.
I
Because in
don't
our
think so. No.
community, there's a perception that guns kill people and not people kill people. Because if they had a different perception of it, there would be, I feel like, a lot less unsolved homicides. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because people get killed so often in our community. It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
like,
I
you
think
know what I
Right.
it's
mean?
I think it's the
So,
same people that I think the people that does hunt and fish and do all that stuff, teach your kids how to do that. They do work with their kids on more tactical stuff. I think it's the people that don't get out of the inner community, the inner city,
Mm-hmm.
that
mhm.
stays there. But yeah, I think it's also good for you to learn about hunting and things like that because who knows what the times might bring, you know? Um,
I agree. And you know what? I really, because I feel like with us, like when we were kids, we would go to Twin Lakes and fish and stuff like
hmm
that. Like I like to fish, but I don't know anybody who likes to fish, and I would like to go with somebody. I don't know why I don't take the initiative to go myself.
There's a lot of
But
people who likes to fish though.
I
You
would,
probably
yeah, I would like to go fishing, and I would like to show my daughter how to fish. I don't know how to hunt, but I would definitely be open to learning how to hunt too. So, but that's another thing that Killer Mike said. He was like, "How y'all gonna start a revolution and you don't know how to fend for yourself?"
exactly
You
because
can't start
if
a
all this shit
revolution
shut down, what you
as
gonna do?
long as you're dependent on this system. You should not be starting a revolution. You need to be able to plant your own food, hunt your own meat, all that, so that you're not dependent on the system. And I
And
feel
that's
like that's
another
where we
thing.
all. I honestly feel like that's where we all need to be at. Because if something
Yeah,
go down, I'm gonna be able to go up there and get one of them there and feed my family.
even if you don't want to do all that, irrigation and knowing how to garden, like you said, is
Mm-hmm.
that's a key thing to being able to survive in a state where you don't have to depend on the government.
But what if it got to that point? Like, come on, my friend, let's go get one of the take this rifle and get one of these turkeys or whatever type of gun you supposed to use to kill turkey.
Look, I hope you got enough rounds to practice on a tree before you go.
But you know what I'm
Waste
saying?
someone.
Like, those are skills that most people in our areas don't have. That if something really goes down, we're
But
gonna.
we honestly we do. It's just we don't surround our we surround ourselves with people that's like us. So we don't do it. But if you really look, there's a lot of people that's from our neighborhood that go out hunting, that go out fishing, and doing stuff like that. It's just they're not in our circle of people. We
Yeah.
just got to branch out and take and embrace the knowledge of other people.
Well,
I
maybe I
know a
need
few
to
people that
reach out more to people who are doing those things.
yeah, because even when I did have Facebook, I would see it on my timeline, people going out fishing, hunting, doing different stuff, but it didn't appeal to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I spend more time looking at the person who went out to eat more than hunting. So
All right, guys, we're at a minute. I'm sorry, an hour and 14. So y'all want to wrap it up? Y'all got some more to talk about? What?
I do want to say rest in peace to King Von, and I definitely want to just give my condolences to Kenya and her daughter. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I know they've been dealing with a lot lately, but
Yeah.
other than that, I'm glad to hear from you guys.
I
I know.
know.
I'm glad
I
to talk to you guys too. I missed you.
know. All right, guys.
All
All
right,
right,
well, it's the O.P.O.V podcast episode 70 something. I'll get it
Seven.
right next week. Thanks. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Love you guys. Goodbye.
It's not so, it's all, it's all,